Hi, I'm Johann Callaghan, and I am really, really, really excited to be here and that you are watching this conversation that I'm going to have with you all about teenagers and sleep. And it is really a subject that is close to my heart because teenagers are precious, our children are precious, and sleep is really fundamentally one of the biggest gifts that we can give to our teenagers. And the need to sleep, it's one of the strongest biological urges that we have. And the fact is we cannot control it. You can actually die from sleep deprivation and even faster than food deprivation. Chronic insufficient sleep is linked to everything from cardiovascular disease to poor mental health. And sleep is a necessity and it's crucial for all of us, especially teenagers. So today I'm going to explain to you why teenagers may have more difficulty with sleep and what you can do as a parent and help you understand what is really going on so that you have more control over this situation. Now, by the time you are 15 years of age, you've already spent 5 years asleep. So that's quite significant. It seems like a lot, but one thing is for sure, it is not a waste of time. Sleep is vital for all the growing and developing, especially up to and in teenage years. And it's really important for your physical, emotional and mental health. Sleep up to now has not really been taken very seriously, but in the last number of years, there's been a lot of research now and it's becoming more and more evident that sleep is crucial for teenagers, especially when it comes to mental health and development. Now, unfortunately, up to 50% of kids in America don't get as much sleep as they actually need. And the lack of it can actually impact on weight management, on academic learning skills, and especially behavior as well. Now, probably the most significant change really when a teenager hits puberty is the shift that they go through, a shift in their circadian rhythm or their timing of sleep when they go to bed and wake up in the morning. And what this really means is teenagers start to go to bed later and they find it really, really difficult to get up at a normal wake up time in the morning, especially for school. And it's not really a good start to the day. Now, this isn't a choice. It's part of nature. And it's really so important that we get this. It's part of the development in teenage years. And this can sometimes cause tension between parents as well in the house. And teenagers don't really understand, and parents don't understand this natural shift in the circadian clock, these biological clocks. Every single cell in our body has a biological clock. And more often than not, parents think that teenagers are being lazy. They have this stigma that they're being lazy and that they're being difficult, but it's not necessarily the case at all. So what is the circadian rhythm and how does it affect teenagers? Well, the circadian rhythm, it's this 24-hour biological process. It's daytime and nighttime. And these patterns, we've evolved with these patterns over thousands of years. It controls the timing of our body rhythms, like our body temperature, our hormones, and our sleep-wake cycle as well. And there's several different types of circadian rhythm sleep disorders, which include delayed sleep phase disorder. And the circadian rhythm, it controls when you should be sleeping and when you should be waking up. So it's part of this daytime and nighttime schedule. So it works in sync with day and night, the sunshine and the nighttime. And as children get older and become teenagers, they experience a natural delay in their circadian rhythms and they start to go to bed later. And they actually prefer to sleep in later as well. So this is this reason for the change seems to be a hormone called melatonin. This change, it's all down to melatonin. So melatonin is a sleep hormone, and melatonin it's a sleep-related hormone that helps you to fall asleep but also stay asleep during the nighttime. And during teenage years, melatonin is released at different times of the day. So it's usually released a little bit later in the evening time. That's why they tend to start to get sleepy later in the evening. So this delayed sleep phase disorder, you might also know it as a night owl. So we know many teenagers have difficulty going to bed early, and this is because your brain produces the melatonin, as I said, later in the evening time. So your body and your brain can't really adjust to this lack of sleep because our teenagers are continuously experiencing sleep deprivation as a result of going to bed late, and they have to get up early in the morning for school. Teenagers don't get the recommended sleep because of the shift in this circadian rhythm. As I say, they get up really, really early for school in the morning. It just causes an enormous amount of problems with teenagers. So teenagers, their brain is been developed when they are going through puberty. Their brain, there's brain development, and also this impacts mental and emotional health as well. So the brain in teenagers, the prefrontal cortex, this part of the brain, the front part of the brain, this is where all our thinking and our decision making is done, all our reasoning, our logic, sense of reasoning and judgments, solving problems. This is where it's all done here. And these are the last areas in the brain to develop in teenagers. Usually it's developed or matures when we're about 20 years of age, a young adult. So teenagers are starting to take on a lot new responsibilities as teenagers. They start to take on a lot of new responsibilities. And they also have an emotional brain. Well, we all have an emotional brain called the amygdala. And what's significant with teenagers is the logical part of the brain, which isn't fully formed, and the amygdala, they haven't quite connected. So this is why adults can actually evaluate choices more effectively, and they can weigh up the consequences more effectively, because teenagers are starting to become more responsible, but they can't marry the two of these together because it's still developing. So this is why teenagers appear to be more emotional at times, and especially when they don't get sleep, because when teenagers get sleep at nighttime, it balances out the two, and it helps. It's allowing for this development as well, but it balances out this emotional and the logical part of the brain when they're sleeping. Now, another important aspect for teenagers is technology and mobile phones. And really, there are so many teenagers and even adults mindlessly overusing their devices. 89% of people use their phones when they're in company. So even in restaurants or even at the dinner table, you may find even yourself as a parent, and even if your phone is switched off or if it's on the table and not actually using it, it's still implying something. It's still a distraction. And the minute you pick up your phone from the table, if it bings or makes a noise, you're really telling your children or anybody else at the table that your phone is more important than the people that are present with you. So be aware of that. It really sends a strong message when you're using your phone in company. So keeping screens and phones out of bed at nighttime, because the screens emit a blue light, and the blue light blocks the melatonin, which is the sleep hormone. Also, mobile phones stimulate the brain, and it also increases dopamine, which is too much of dopamine. It's an excitatory neurotransmitter, but it causes an addiction. This is why it's very difficult to let the phone down. But one of the best things that you can do as a parent is to practice this as well, because our children learn from our behaviors. So we have to walk the talk. This is really, really important. So what you can do as a parent to help your teenagers sleep better is really teach them the importance of sleep, why it is so vital for their health, and how it can help their memory. It can help their emotions, their mental health, their cognition. It can help all of this as a result of getting good sleep and practicing healthy sleep hygiene as well. So teach them the importance of sleep from a very young age. It's really important that you tell your children why sleep is so important. It's like teaching them all about healthy eating and exercise, why that's important. And the best way, as I said, to teach them is to model it yourself. That is the best way, because children learn from example from ourselves. So this is why parenting is probably one of the most important roles that we do have. Let sunshine into their bedrooms in the morning. So you can go into their bedrooms and open up the curtains and This will allow sunshine to come into the room. And this is the sunshine is fantastic for resetting the circadian rhythm, for switching off the melatonin. This is what sunshine does in the morning, even if it's just daylight. I know in some parts of the world we don't get too much sunshine, so daylight can help. So also keep your home really quiet and calm as much as possible to help with winding down in the evening time, to allow that process, nice relaxation and calming atmosphere, and use soft lighting as well in the evening time. So there are a few things that you can do to help your teenagers to sleep well, really educate them, really understand it yourself as well. And by doing this, you will have more compassion for your teenagers, and it will be a win-win for everybody. So thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of the talks. Take care.